Michael McPherson. I'm the special agent in charge of the FBI Tampa Division. As you're aware, the FBI and the Northport Police Department and our state and local law enforcement partners have been searching the area of the Carlton Reserve for Brian Laundrie, a person of interest in the murder of Gabby Petito. Earlier today, investigators found what appears to be human remains, along with personal items, such as a backpack and notebook belonging to Brian Laundrie. These items were found in an area that up until recently have been underwater. Our evidence response team is on scene using all available forensic resources to process the area. It's likely the team will be on scene for several days. I know you have a lot of questions, but we don't have all the answers yet. We are working diligently to get those answers for you. We are grateful for the dedication and professionalism of the Northport Police Department, along with our partners from the state and local agencies. Complex investigations such as this cannot be accomplished by one agency alone, but there's just too many agencies to name them all here today. Portions of the Myakkahatchee Creek Environment Park and Carlton Reserve will remain closed to the public until further notice. This is an active and ongoing investigation, so we ask the public to maintain distance from any law enforcement personnel, equipment, vehicles, and other related activity for the safety of the public and to protect the integrity of our work. We have no additional comment related to today's activities. Our FBI Denver office is the lead investigative agency, and all future inquiries should be directed to them. We appreciate the tremendous support from the public and continue to ask for your assistance in bringing this investigation to close. Thank you.
Was the backpack found near the body?
Justice for Gabby! Justice for Gabby! Justice for Gabby!
So that was the FBI special agent in charge giving an update. Let's go back to our panel. Chief Oates, what did you make of that? What was the headline there for you?
Well, it sounds like they found the body, and we'll likely get that confirmation in a day or two. But now what it triggers for the investigators, very, very important, is how he died. And then what is the physical evidence that is there, and what condition is it in? Is this a suicide? Did he die from the elements? In the physical evidence that's there, is there any indication of or explanation for Gabby's death, or any physical evidence that ties him to the crime scene of Gabby's death? And those are the trails that the investigators are going down right now.
And Casey Jordan, let me ask you, how does this affect, if this is in fact Brian Laundrie, and we do not know that for a fact yet, but if this is in fact Brian Laundrie, how does it affect the investigation into the murder, the strangulation of Gabby Petito?
The most interesting thing that I just learned from that presser was that a notebook was found with the backpack. And that really raises the question that if indeed this is Brian Laundrie, and if he died by his own hand, did he take the time to write out a note of explanation, maybe even regret, something that would give answers not only to the police but to Gabby's family? I think that if that notebook is there, there's a very good chance there could be a note. We, the public, may never know the content. I'm not sure that we get to know, but it would certainly indicate, especially if his parents, who have voiced their concern that he might have harmed himself or have had suicidal ideations when he went into the reserve, maybe the notebook will have some answers. But if it doesn't, if he has not been in touch or corresponding or calling his parents in the month that he's been missing, then we may never know the exact answers of what happened to Gabby. And that's going to be a very hard thing for her family to deal with.
Very difficult, as if the last month and a half hasn't been difficult enough. Let me bring Randy Kay, our correspondent on the scene, back. And Randy, you just heard the FBI spokesman, the FBI special agent in charge, talking about the changing environmental conditions. In other words, something was underwater, this material that is no longer underwater. Tell us about that.
Well, they have been searching here, Jake, as you know, since September 17th, when the family Brian Laundrie's parents directed them here to this area. But it's a swamp. I mean, there were very swampy conditions. So they had the swamp buggies, they had divers out here many days looking for him. there was some deep water that they couldn't get to, and they were wondering this whole time, waiting for those waters to recede and hoping that that would help them out in their search. So we don't know if this particular area was fully underwater, but it was clearly not accessible. You hear a lot of the protesters here behind me, but it was clearly not accessible for law enforcement and possibly now for the family to get to as well. So that could play a big role in why they made this discovery just today.
Dan Oates, let me just ask you a final thought about this case as we seem to possibly come to a conclusion of it.
Well, there's one other important issue here, and that is with the finding of Brian Laundrie's body, if in fact that's what this is, whatever reticence the family of Brian Laundrie had to not cooperate with the police out of whatever motivation to protect him or whatever, that's kind of gone. So there is the possibility when investigators go back to the family that there'll be some additional scraps of evidence or insight not previously provided to investigators, which might now open up. So that's another angle that should be looked into.
A horrible story.